Hey, what's up, Cheese Virgin Gang? Hey, I told you I'd do that. I told you I'd actually get that out there. Appreciate you leaving that comment for so long. Never you worry. If I say I'll do something, I'll do it. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. Today's Boo Boo card of the day is going to be none other than this Weavile GX Full Art. This is from Tag Team All Stars. I don't believe this one was ever released in English. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I know a couple of them got like special boxes in English, like the Jirachi did for sure. It's a full art, not the most banging, not the most bitching card that's ever existed. It's a full art. I like the card. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. Full arts aren't bad cards by any stretch of the imagination. Only when you look at them on a value perspective is when people kind of get a little butthurt about that stuff. Anyway, want to kind of address a couple things. Want to talk about stuff that gets brought up to me constantly, and it's just stuff in the comment section. I'm working on another video. I want to make sure I do it correctly, though. Otherwise, it's not really going to come off the way I want it to. It's a little nitpicky, but it's something I deserve. I think it deserves to be nitpicked, honestly. I really do. Anyway, I get asked a lot of stuff, and by the way, fucking support for the videos lately have been amazing. Like, you guys have been blowing this stuff up. You guys have been just smashing the like, smashing the dislike, smashing the comments. Let me know how you feel. And I try to get to as many of them as I can, but man, there's a fuck ton of comments lately, and it's a shame. I can't get to all of them. I wish I could. It's nuts to see. Anyway, I get asked a lot of stuff in those comments, right? A couple of things I get asked. Number one, the biggest thing I get asked is where's my positive content when it comes to things like that? And hey, if you don't like my content on YouTube here, I completely get it. All the more power to you. Go watch a bunch of those other guys. But hey, if you want to follow some positive stuff, go check out my Instagram. Get your ass over there and follow my Instagram account. I'm basically a semi-professional card photographer of the cardboard. Go check out that stuff. I'm the man when it comes. That's. If you want to check that out, I do have an Instagram, and I do talk a little bit more about cards and things like that over there. Check it out if you want to. No pressure, but I am also over there. But one of the things I get asked a lot, especially with my content, it's something that I think really people don't understand my stance on a whole lot, which I kind of understand, is my stance on value. I get asked a lot, like, yo, Opossum, why the fuck don't you like value on cards? Yo, Opossum, more value on your cards means the bigger flip, dog. You can just flip those cards more. You can flip that stuff, Biggie. Like, you should want this shit, dog. You should want all this good stuff to happen. You have some expensive cards. I thought you'd be the first person to be all over this stuff. And look, so I'm gonna address that right there, and I'm gonna stop. But I do appreciate everybody who leaves that comment too. You're welcome to leave whatever you want in my comment section. I legitimately don't give a fuck. To address that question, and it gets asked quite a bit, I don't have a problem with value on cards at all. In fact, I think some cards should have some value. In fact, I think some of the cards that have come out recently should have some value. And some of them I think should have a little bit more value. I think some of them are undervalued. Tag teams is a good example for that. Those alternate art tag team cards have been around for 4 fucking years, like they have. And the fact they got a little bit of traction, I think was kind of late, in my personal opinion. Those were awesome cards. Even when Sword and Shield full arts and fucking alternate arts were getting the shit pumped up out of them, right? Like the Sun and Moon ones were sitting on the sideline, like, oh, what the fuck about us? Like, where's our pump? Where's the people who like our stuff? And people grabbed that. People actually added to their binder. There's a lot of people who genuinely like the art, genuinely like the tag teams that got those cards. And then a little bit went too far with that, with the value, where some of them just got some absurd pricing and it took off. And some people were like, man, I really wish I could have got those cards. But hey, some of those people had been here 4 years, 3 years, and they'd been buying other cards. They've been filling out their Charizard binder. They've been filling out their vintage binder. And hey, you're more than welcome to do so. Buy your vintage cards. Get the fuck out of it, man. It's good. Do what you want to do. Collect what you want to collect. But other people didn't do that, and some other cards kind of took off. Tag Team Alternate Arts should have some value. I think the Hyper Rare Tag Team should have some value too. I really do. I think those are kind of undervalued. Like, honestly, I don't understand how some of those are like $30 still. They were the chase cards back in the day, and all of a sudden, they don't mean a damn thing. Oh well. There's several examples of stuff where it's like, oh yeah, some of these cards should have some value. Hell, some fucking full art trainers should have some value. Some of them should. Lily should have some value. She really should. She is extremely important for the anime, the games, the manga, a very popular character, very pivotal to the stories and stuff like that. Like, she should have some value. There are several playable trainers that should have some value. It makes perfect sense, right? The problem that I have with value, and the reason I make some of the videos that I make, and especially where people kind of push agendas with that kind of thing, is value can cross a line super easy, especially when there's PokeTubers and influencers that are all talking about like a set, a product, a card, and every time it gets mentioned, every time somebody brings up a specific card or anything, myself included, I'm no exception to this, something happens with that. There's going to be somebody who looks at that, someone's going to go actually check that shit out, and movement's going to happen. A good example is Simplified Chinese, where PokeRev had been opening that stuff up lately. Good openings, the motherfucker was having a good time opening that stuff up. They're good cards, they really are. But it did cause people to go over there, did cause people to show interest in that stuff. And some people genuinely like those cards. Other people, they want to go over there and they want to flip it, right? It did cause some of that stuff to actually spike when Simplified Chinese was kind of something that only a handful of people had really known about beforehand, such as Crystal Collect. She had gotten a good little bit into that. She'd discussed it before, and she's always my go-to when it is talking about like Korean, Simplified Chinese, Indonesian, any just other language beyond English and Japanese. Go-to over there, right? I highly recommend it. Value is a super easy thing to get fucked up. It really is, because there is genuinely a line on value. And the number one thing people say is it's all subjective. It's all market based. It's all fucking market this, market that. Whatever someone's willing to pay is completely acceptable. And yes, you are correct. Whatever someone is willing to pay is completely fine and acceptable. But like, they cannot even be kind of argued that some of this shit is pushed artificially, and the crash for this shit is going to be massive. So the problem with artificial value is it's fake. It's not real. There's not genuine interest amongst the majority of people buying or purchasing said card. In fact, a lot of it lately, especially with like dumb cards that are like $1 lately, that are all of a sudden going for like 20, 30 bucks, it's artificial, especially if the card's been around for a hot second and it's moving super quick. It's obvious that someone said something, or someone themselves is doing something with said card and then trying to pump, manipulate, and flip it. The problem is when that fucking hype train moves, or when another hype train begins, such as, I don't know, 151, or the set after that, the Obsidian Flame, or whatever it's called in Japanese, right? It's going to crash. It's going to crash hard, and the value of that card is just going to fucking stagnate. It's going to have a sour taste in people's mouth because of how that card fucking moved. It really is. There's no genuine interest in that stuff, and it just kind of sits. If cards are allowed to progress naturally, they're allowed to fucking, descend where people just don't want the card, or people show genuine interest in that stuff, and it sells for a relatively fair price, not something that spikes 10, 20, 30% overnight. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. That's just bullshit. And that's stuff that's harmful to the market. That's harmful for long-term collecting, 100%. And that's how you know people aren't investors here. That's how you know people are flippers here, because people that do easy, quick flips, they'll take a product, try to move it for 3 times the price, and just fucking dip after that. They're like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm investing in Pokemon. No, you're not. You're flipping. You're flipping Pokemon. There is a big, big difference in both of those things. And just because you flip something does not mean that you yourself are a long-term standing person in Pokemon. They can be synonymous, but they're not. Either way, the value of something like that tends to get fucked up. There's a reason why there's huge spikes now whenever sets come out in Japanese, and they're like, wait for the dip, wait, it'll fucking dip back down. And it does happen, but it generally happens a lot slower than it should be happening now. It's because people literally are holding on to shit, and they're trying to flip shit as much as they can, whether it be on Whatnot, whether it be on Instagram, whether it be on fucking YouTube, whether it be on breaks, any of that stuff. The fucking value aspect of Pokemon is so goddamn easy to just twist and turn and cross and do whatever the fuck you want to, because the market is us. It is the fucking secondhand market. It is the collectors. It is the players. It is the investors. It's the flippers. It's all of us. Pokemon is not pumping these cards. Pokemon is not saying, hey, go after this card right fucking here. This is the card that you need. They're not increasing the MSRP. They're not fucking selling their own goddamn singles. That's a secondhand market, okay? We can all agree with that. That is us. We are the ones doing that. And because we have a large say now here, whether it be content or it's just stupid. I don't have a problem with value. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't. I have a problem with fake, stupid, just manipulative, unwarranted value. That's what I have a problem with, because it's harmful to everyone who wants to be in this hobby long term, not the motherfuckers that are going to leave the second the quick money leaves. And the second the quick money leaves, believe you me, you will see 50% of the motherfuckers here leave. You will. 100%. So I got, just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. Wanted to just kind of get that off my chest. I do appreciate everybody who leaves comments. You're welcome to leave whatever comment you want down there. I do try to read as many of them as I can. I do appreciate it. Once again, I appreciate the content kicking off too. I got that other video I'm working on. We'll see how that goes. That'll be super interesting. Anyway, that's all I got. Appreciate it, virgins. See you later.